I'm Maya from New Orleans. Please like and subscribe to For Eve. I lived in an old house with Dad who worked as a potter. Mom left us when I was 4 to make it as a big movie star and never came back. With gorgeous hair and porcelain white skin, I looked exactly like her, and no one believed my dad and I were related, especially our nosy neighbors. Once when I was 6, Dad got a big order from the city. He worked all night to make all 20 vases. I was admiring them when I accidentally knocked them off, shattering them to pieces.
I am so sorry, Dad. I didn't do it intentionally.
It's okay, Maya. Don't worry. I'll make new ones.
But Dad couldn't make them in time, and he lost the order. He was devastated. Things got worse when the police knocked at our doors later that night. Our nosy neighbors heard the crashing sound and thought I was in trouble. Dad tried to convince them, but they only left when I showed them my birth certificate. I begged Dad to give the neighbors a piece of his mind, but he was a softie.
They're just concerned.
No, they're crazy. Things didn't change much even as I grew up. We struggled with money, but I was happy as long as I had my dad. On my 10th birthday, Dad took me to a mall and asked me to buy whatever I wanted.
I saved it for your birthday, dear. You deserve it.
But Dad, I don't want anything, and we could use this money. But he was dead set that I should buy something. I walked in, but the store manager refused to let Dad get in.
You won't be able to afford anything here.
Why not? We have money, and we're here just like everyone else. The manager made a face and refused us straight to our faces. Eventually, Dad gave in, and we left. It was humiliating. That day, I decided I'd never let anyone bully us like that. Soon after, I got into boxing, and by the time I was in 12th grade, I was the toughest girl in my class, and I started participating in all the major competitions around town and aced them all. One time during practice, I felt a sharp pain in my hand. Dad took me to the doctor, who confirmed I had a minor sprain and needed some rest and medicine. But Dad looked extra worried. Dad, relax. It's just a small sprain.
It's not that. Your mom called this morning. She wants you to complete your school year with her.
What? No way. She never looked back once, and now it's too late.
This is only temporary till I look for a job. I don't even have the money to buy your meds, and you'll be starting college soon.
I'll work hard and win a scholarship. I'm good at what I do. Please don't send me away. But I knew Dad had made up his mind when the next morning a big car arrived in front of my house with Mom in it. When she saw me, she hugged me tightly.
Oh, my sweet Maya. You're all grown up and so pretty, just like me.
I pulled myself away as Mom smiled at me. It was the first time I'd seen her after so long. If not for her movies, I would have never recognized her. I am nothing like you. And please, don't think that I'm happy to do this.
As long as I have you.
Mom got her staff to pack my stuff, and I was ready to move within minutes. I was still unsure if this was a good idea, but Dad promised he'd get me soon and we'd be together again. So I left him with a heavy heart. The next few days in Mom's mansion were a nightmare. I wanted quiet time away from her, but she was stuck to me like gum in your hair. I was forced to take long walks with her and go on unnecessary shopping trips. And then one day, she changed my entire wardrobe. Where's all my stuff? Your old stuff was rotten, so I threw it away. But those things were important to me. Dad gave me those things. I want it back.
You're my daughter. I can't let people see you as a poor girl anymore.
So, that's what it's all about? That's why you took me away from Dad? Stop twisting my words. I was just too angry to hear her out and slammed the door shut on my way out. Every passing day I spent there made me miss Dad even more. But he spoke to me whenever he could, and I was happy. When Mom told me I'd start school soon, I couldn't be more excited. Anything to get away from her would work. On the day I was supposed to start school, I woke up late to my mom screaming at someone. I went down to see it was the cook, and a boy stood next to him holding a bagel. How dare he steal from our kitchen?
But I found this in a pile of food you were throwing away, ma'am.
I'm talking to your father. If your son does this again, I'll fire you. They nodded and left. I went after the boy to see him give that bagel to a helpless girl on the sidewalk. That was the kindest thing I'd seen since I'd come here. When he looked in my direction, I noticed how cute he was.
She was hungry. I'm not some thief, but your mother didn't seem to believe me.
I believe you. I'm Maya. He introduced himself as Zach, the cook's son. We exchanged smiles, and when the driver arrived, he continued on his way. At least there was one kind person in this strange place. My first day of school was nothing like I'd imagined. Thanks to my mom, everyone knew who I was, and to make things more awkward, a really good-looking guy approached me in the hallway.
Wow, you're even prettier than your mom.
I looked at him, clueless.
I'm Marco. Your mom must have mentioned me. She's best friends with my parents.
Nope, doesn't ring a bell. I started walking to class, but Marco stopped me again.
I wasn't done talking, princess.
Too bad. I was, and I'm late for class, Franco.
Marco.
Don't care. After that day, Marco did everything to get my attention. He started showering me with expensive gifts and flowers, and it almost looked like he was on a mission to get me to date him. Only later did I learn he was the mayor's son and one of the most powerful guys in town. Not that I cared. I already had an obsessive mom, so my hands were full. One day, it was Mom's movie success party, and the entire town was invited. She was so excited that she even bought us matching dresses and begged me to wear them.
We'll look like twins, baby. It'll be fantastic.
First, that's weird. And secondly, that dress looks like poop. I'd rather wear a tent. There was no way I was doing anything she wanted me to. So I went ahead and bought myself the weirdest dress I could find, just to embarrass her. The party was boring, and my eyes hurt from all that bling. And when I saw Marco enter, I knew I had to get out of there. I tiptoed my way into the kitchen, but banged into Zach.
Are you okay?
Hey, I'm just trying to ignore someone.
The guy in white who looks like he eats money for breakfast?
Yeah, how did you know? Zach pointed in Marco's direction, who was frantically searching for someone under the tables. We burst out laughing, and I noticed what a heart-melting smile Zach had.
Come here, I'll show you a great hiding place.
He pulled me toward the back entrance, leading to a sprawling garden. It was beautiful. Our eyes met for a second, and I felt a weird rush in my tummy.
So, why were you hiding from him?
He's just an idiot from school I'm trying not to punch. I wish I could return home and get away from this place.
You really hate it here, don't you?
I nodded. Zach and I walked around and started talking. He told me how he was saving up for culinary school and wanted to be a chef someday. And I told him my story.
Boxer, huh? Show me your moves. I know a little boxing myself.
Don't say I didn't warn you. I tried to do a fake box in the air, but ended up hitting Zach smack in his face.
That was good. Ow.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Are you hurt? As I tried to check for any broken bones, Zach moved in closer and tucked my hair behind my ears. I felt my knees go weak.
Better.
His eyes caught my attention because they were a gorgeous shade of green and could make anyone swoon. I wasn't paying attention when I noticed a flash from the corner of my eye, and then 100 people started taking pictures of us. I turned to run, but saw Mom staring at me with eyes blazing like fire. It's bad enough that you're dressed like a joker, and now you're flirting with the help? His name is Zach, and he's my friend. That looked more than friends.
You embarrass me, Maya.
Why don't you just abandon me then? You're good at that. Mom and I got crazy on each other, and the party fell silent.
You rude child. I saved you from your pathetic father, and this is how you repay me?
Mom reached for me, but she tripped over a rock and fell into the life-size fountain. Her makeup washed off her face, and she looked like a zombie. I knew I'd taken it too far. I stepped forward to help her, but Marco reached before me and helped her out. I apologized to Mom the following day, but she ignored me. Zach and I were all over the news, and as a result, his dad was fired and they left. He was my only friend here, and I missed him so much. With Dad not responding to me either, I was left all alone. Soon after, Marco and Mom started working on a movie together because Mom recommended him. It was bad enough I had to deal with that fame-hungry, good-for-nothing brat in school, and now he was always at home. A week before my 18th birthday, I was already feeling low, so I decided to treat myself to some ice cream. But while I was walking back home, I saw a hooded figure following me. "Come out, you jerk! What are you hiding your face for?" I was all set to knock his teeth out when suddenly the guy came forward and revealed his face. Zach! Oh my God, you got me there for a second.
Sorry, didn't mean to scare you.
Scared my butt? Why are you following me?
I work in a store nearby. I saw you come in, and I just had to talk to you. Maya, your mom is hiding something from you.
Zach told me that when he was fired, he'd gone back to collect his check when he heard Mom talking to someone over the phone.
She said something about a big deal, and Marco is involved too. Just check her office.
No wonder that jerk is always home. And he's also involved in her new film. What could this be about?
I don't know, but it's something big.
Thanks, Zach. I always knew my mom was up to something. Maybe it's time I got my answers.
One more thing.
Zach moved closer and kissed me lightly on my forehead.
Please be careful. I like you a lot, in case that wasn't clear.
I thought I'd lost my chance after that black eye I gave you, but I'm glad to know I didn't. Before leaving, I pulled Zach in for a magical kiss, and then I started with my secret mission. But I had no idea what I was looking for or where I would find it. With Marco around the house, I had to be extra careful. I found my opportunity when Mom offered to throw me an 18th birthday party. She'd be busy with the guests, and I could snoop around the office. She got me the most beautiful dress and even hired someone to do my makeup. I hated everything, but I didn't want to draw any attention, so I agreed. The whole house was filled with guests on my birthday that evening, and I spotted Mom in the corner talking to Marco. This was the perfect moment. I went to Mom's study and found some papers in a red mailer about some land deal. I was just opening them when Marco walked in. He saw me and grinned, and I had the weirdest feeling ever.
You're a sight for sore eyes, sweet face. That dress looks amazing on you.
Shut up, moron.
That's not how you talk to your fiancé, sweetheart.
Is this some kind of sick joke?
Well, your mom would answer that better. Why don't we ask her together?
Marco took my arm and pulled me outside. When Mom saw that, she came rushing and pushed him away. What are you doing?
Just bringing the truth out.
Mom, what's happening and what are these papers about? Mom looked at me in shock as the color drained from her face.
Why don't I do the honors?
Marco told me that Mom wanted to open a film academy, but had money issues, so his dad pitched in. In return, she promised them a role for Marco and our marriage.
But now, she doesn't seem to believe me. Maybe she'll believe you.
I looked at Mom in shock, and she stayed silent. She totally did it. What kind of mother are you? First you abandon me, then you take me away from Dad, and now you want to use me as bait? My beauty won't last forever, so I had to think for myself, and I don't regret it one bit. You will marry Marco, and that's final.
Not without my approval. Don't forget, you signed over full custody to me.
I turned around to see my dad looking angrier than ever. I rushed to him and hugged him tight. Dad, I'm so glad you're here.
Maya, there's someone I'd like you to meet.
We all turned around, and I was completely shocked to see Zach walk in. He told us how Zach had called him a few days back and told him I was in trouble.
I was out of town to set up my pottery school. I wish I could have come sooner.
You're just in time. As Mom and Dad argued, I walked up to Zach. Marco tried to butt in, but I kicked him so hard, I'm sure he'll limp for days. I took Zach's hand as he smiled at me. Thank you. You truly are amazing.
Not half as amazing as you. I'm moving to Paris to study. Want to join?
I'll follow you anywhere. Zach and I kissed as I said goodbye to this fake life forever.